Welcome to the Report Advantage Podcast. I am Alex Swire-Clark, human behavior expert, author, and award-winning speaker. Understand yourself and others to unlock your potential. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, my longtime listeners. You know, I started this journey way back in the day. It was a long time ago that we started this podcast, and super excited to be back with you. I have not put out an episode in over a year, so that's been kind of crazy, to the point that I've been speaking so much. So of course, if you follow the show at all, you know that I'm a CEO by day. That's kind of my Bruce Wayne persona. My Batman persona, so to speak, is that I also do professional speaking. So I travel across the United States and Canada, helping folks transform the way they communicate, understanding emotional intelligence to really improve their culture in the way that they do things in their corporate setting. But I also have other things out there that I do, projects and what have you. So as I've been traveling through the country for the last few years, one of the big things I get is, I'm talking to businesses, and they'll come up to me during the first break and they'll be like, Alex, dude, this is phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate those comments. And then the next comment is, so how can we use this in our personal lives? This is great at work when I'm talking about building teams, when I'm talking about interpersonal dynamics, why some folks might leave a company versus stay. And so how can we use this in our personal lives, either with, let's say, a significant other, right? How do we use this information? And so I have created an online course for that very purpose. So I've got an online course out there. It begins with a webinar so that you can kind of understand what we do. It's completely free, right? And so it kind of dives into the personal side of how we take this methodology and how we apply it to working with our significant other, our partner, so to speak. So folks have been asking me for this for a long time. It's finally here. So it's ready to go. I've got webinars that are evergreen that you can go out there and watch. It's all, me, high energy, but it also, me, I bring the practical knowledge and the practical nuggets along with me. So I want you to make sure that you don't miss out on that. We've got some webinars coming up here in May, as this podcast is being launched May 2nd or May 3rd, if you will. We've got some webinars coming up here in May where I'll be talking with you about how to use this to improve communication, how to reduce conflict, whether it be talking about the budget or how to raise your kids, or what are we going to do in retirement, identifying kind of who the spender is, who's the saver, when those things can break down, and, in terms of how we get energy. One of the big things I get is, Alex, my boyfriend or my significant other, my partner, they like to spend a lot of time with their friends. And I just don't do that. I mean, why doesn't he want to spend more time with me? We address those situations in the course. Things like, hey, Alex, I'm pretty strict on my kids, but my significant other, she doesn't believe in that. She just, wants for them to have a good time and all that kind of good stuff, and is more flexible with that. And we address that in the course. And so those big, huge issues for couples, money, things like religious beliefs, disciplining your kids, all of those types of things. Where do we go on vacation? How much money do we spend? All those types of things we get into in this course, and we drill it all back down to temperament, right? How we're wired. What are our priorities? Why do we do the way we do? For example, if you listened to my podcast before, if you heard me speak before, you know my story about vacation. And so my wife, when we use the DISC methodology to teach that into our corporate settings, in the DISC methodology, my wife is a high C. High C's are reserved and task-oriented. So never met a spreadsheet that it didn't instantly fall in love with. Give me facts, give me data. There has to be logic behind the decisions we make. And then I'm a high I. So for me, I like to be spontaneous. My glasses always have full, super positive, creative, kind of out of the box, improvisational, that type of thing. So when we go on vacation together, winning looks very, very different, and it can cause problems. It can cause conflict and make what should be a fun, relaxing, enjoyable time into something that's stressful for both of us and the rest of the family. So when we get to a place, let's say like Disney World, for me as a high I, being the spontaneous guy, we show up in the park when we show up. We're going to go ride some rides. I'm going to get my picture taken with Mickey and Goofy, get some autographs, walk around with 2 things of cotton candy, and gnawing on those things all day. Let's have a great time, right? And when we get there, we get there. When we leave, we leave. Not my wife. Oh, that ain't working for her.
No.
Her mentality is we're going to get that parking lot by 7:02, hit that tram by 7:18. We're going to be at the front of the line by 7:49. When that rope drops at 8, boom, we're instantly heading toward the strollers. She's passing out agendas to everyone, including the 2-year-old. Bathroom breaks between 10:02 and 10:07. If you don't go then, you better be wearing some Depend undergarments, people. I mean, we are going till we can't go anymore. At the top of the agenda, the title says Dumbo or Die. We're staying at that park until midnight so we can see Tinkerbell come down that zip line. I don't care if my then 8-year-old son's like, Dad, I'm cramping. I can't take it anymore. And my dad alarm is going like, we got to get out of here. We got to leave, right? I mean, I'm thinking, we're not going to survive much longer. So in that moment, for me, winning was let's have a good time, make some memories, enjoy ourselves, and we leave whenever we leave. And for my wife, it was about checking boxes, right? We had to do all of the things on the list to make that a successful venture because for her, she's very task-driven. So this impacts every single facet of our life from, helping our kids with, plans for college or what they're doing in middle school, what classes they should be taking, are they following up on their homework? When they come home, my wife is always about prioritizing things. And for me, as a dad, one of my things that my kids will tell you if you ask them is like, what's important on a daily basis, right? What's important on a daily basis? Not talking about, religion and heaven and things like that, but just on a daily, the daily grind, as my son would say. Say, you got to do the have-tos before the want-tos. I said, that's right. Have-tos come before want-tos. And so my wife really helps to, hit that home like a hammer on a nail, because when they first come in, it's like, okay, do you have any homework this afternoon? What tests do we have coming up? She wants them to be successful and do the best they can in everything they do, whether it's playing, a card game or whether that's, thinking about college or career paths or their, after school activities, whatever. She wants them to achieve excellence. That's her goal. Let's achieve excellence when we can. For me, I just want them to enjoy themselves and have a great experience. Neither one of us is wrong, right? That's the point. Neither one of us is wrong, but being able to understand that from a different perspective is what unlocks your ability to be this power couple, to be able to understand one another, to play off of each other's strengths, and that makes it a winning situation. So this webinar is going to kind of give you the high-level view of that, and that will introduce you to my couples course. And if you want to go straight to that couples course, that's fine, but in the link in the episode below, I'm going to put the link to the webinar that it's going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. There'll be 4 different times that you can go to listen to that, to be a part of that. You can certainly ask me any questions offline. Many of you that are out there listening right now have heard me speak before, so thank you for your continued support. I know that some of you are downloading the podcasts, on a monthly, weekly basis and catching up on old episodes. I really appreciate that. This couples course is going to take your relationship to the next level. I promise. It works. The feedback has been super positive, so I can't wait for you to be a part of it. I'll be glad to answer any questions. You've got my email address. It's contact@alexswire-clark.com. That's contact@alexswire-clark.com. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you have. I hope to see you in the course. Until the next time we talk, have a wonderful, blessed day, and may all of your decisions be positive ones towards your relationship. Use the methodology that you have out there to build the best relationship you possibly can, and I'm here to support you. Take care. We'll talk soon.